Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, so getting some stuff out of the way. We still have cabins for the cruise. So if you guys are interested, I would love to meet you guys. This is part of the reason why I love doing these meet and greets and I love doing the live events is because I get to meet you and I get to hear your stories and I get to help you personally. And that's what makes me very happy because then I can get specific. So that really is cool. Hello, UK. I'm going to be there in June. We're going to talk more about that. That's awesome. So yeah, this is why I like doing live stuff. I mean, this is great and I love interacting with you and this is wonderful and I love answering questions, but I love it when I get to actually meet you and put a face to the name and a name to the face and figure out who you are and help you personally. So that was so cool this last weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend before at Anaheim. It was awesome. So it was a great meeting you guys. I'm so glad that you came. I'm so glad that we could help you. And Suzanne and I are just thrilled to be doing this. So, okay, so there's still cabins for the cruise. If you are interested in the cruise is December 6th through the 9th. And then I am doing for people that can't make it on the cruise, I am doing a lecture in Orlando on the 14th of December. So there it is. Okay, let's see. What else do I need to tell you? The store is open. The store is open. So you can go to chrisgodinez.com and get there that way, or you can go to mercury.com and get to the store that way. So we've got all the cups and everything else for sale there if you are interested and feel so motivated to purchase things that we need to talk on it. So there it is. There is that. Okay, let's see. Trying to think. Cruise. That, okay, and then the next one I'm going to is going to be in Reno, which is going to be awesome. So that is September 14th is Reno. So I will see you guys September 14th in Reno. Sign up for that because I'm going to be there. So anyway, there is that. I'm not sure about Suzanne. I'm going to have to ask her whether she's going or not. I don't think she is on that one. I think that one she couldn't, but I'll double check. Okay. Also, if you wish to purchase the books, they're available on Amazon. I think we have them up for sale on the merchandise store page. And also I will be autographing them. So I will do a personalized autograph. So y'all just sign up for that and I'll get that done. So there it is. Also, if you are so interested, this is a wonderful book. This is Shahida Arabi. This is Healing the Child of Narcissistic Parents. Great book. I cannot recommend this book enough. Read this book. This book is going to be so helpful because it basically lets you know you're not alone. You are not the only person that this has, unfortunately, happened to. So, okay, there is that. I think I have covered everything I was supposed to cover. So the merchandise store and the cruise is on and September 14th. Okay, so today's topic is body image, self-esteem, and evicting this inner critic. So WTF with all of that. Okay. So basically, and I do want to warn you guys, this is going to be a little bit of a trigger for those of us who have been through abusive relationships, whether they were parental, whether they were romantic, because what abusers do is they attack whatever is going to make us the most vulnerable. Because that's what those a-holes do. So they go after whatever is really going to make us question our space in the universe, So, all right. So I want to take it for a couple of different angles. I want to hit it from, having a parent that was a narcissist or an abuser in some way, shape, or form. I also want to take it from, the romantic partner thing or a friendship thing. Toxic. So what ends up happening? Okay. And I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. How we speak to our children becomes their internal dialogue, for better or for worse. Now, if it's for worse, it's going to be the critic. It's going to be not good enough. You're awful. I hate you. Why did you say that? Why did you do that? Da, 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 da. Not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. If it is for better, then it is a cheerleader. Yay, go you, you're awesome. I love you. You're fabulous. Oops, you fucked up. Okay, make amends. Do what you need to do. Okay, good. Forgive yourself. Move on. Don't do it again. That's the kind, gentle gentle interior dialogue that we want. But when we've got a parental unit that is harsh, mean, critical, vicious, abusive, toxic, the whole thing, they say these horrible things to us 24/7. And unfortunately, that then becomes our internal critic. That's the voice we're hearing. So everybody's like, no, it's me. That's my voice. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry, but when we pop out of the womb, we don't pop out of the womb beating ourselves to a pulp verbally. We don't. That stuff is taught to us, how to talk to ourselves. So if we're constantly hearing negative, nasty, negative, nasty, negative, nasty, negative, nasty, that becomes our internal dialogue. Okay. Not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. Now, let's go back a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of review here. So abusers are shame-filled, and they spew that shame over everybody. And if you will notice, a lot of them use religion to gotcha. Okay, they do the gotcha with the religion. So what I've heard a lot of abusive parents doing to their targets of abuse, their children, their grandchildren, their partners, their whatever, they will do the whole, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. That's what they're saying. You should be ashamed about your body. So they will make anything having to do with the body wrong. Anything having to do with the body wrong. And if they're somatic narcissists, meaning somatic of the body, wanting to look good all the time, they are in competition with their children, their grandchildren, their partner, their whatever, okay? It's this crazy thing of they need to look good at all times, but their kids do not, okay? And they make sure that their kids don't feel good about who they are. And so they use the religious thing. So what ends up happening is, especially if you were raised by the hardcore fundamentalist type of thing, they will do the whole, the body is evil. If you're a woman, you're evil. If you're a man, you're evil. Basically, if you're breathing, you're evil. Yeah, it's like you can't do anything right. And they use that hardcore fundamentalism to back up the abuse that they are already spewing in your direction. And so they make anything of the body wrong. So that, normally when a child looks in a mirror, have you ever seen kids, little babies, when they look in the mirror, they're like, hi, hi. They want to communicate, they want to touch, and they're fascinated, and they're happy, When you've got parents that are constantly making you wrong, telling you that you're fat, telling you that you're ugly, telling you that you're not good enough, telling you that you're too much, you're too much, your emotions are too much, or you're not enough. It's this crazy making circle of too much, not enough, too much, not enough, too much, not enough, so that we get to the point that we no longer look in the mirror and go, hi, good to see you, have a great day. We don't even look in the mirror at all. So that's one of the first questions I actually ask my clients when we are starting to work on recovery from an abusive relationship is, how often do you look in the mirror? And do you like what you hear? More so than what you see. Because here's the funny thing. A lot, if not all, of the targets of abuse are beautiful. They're beautiful. They're beautiful human beings. They are empaths. They are kind, they are gentle, they're beautiful human beings. But their abuser, whether that has been the parent or the romantic partner or whoever, the toxic friend, whatever, has lied to them and convinced them that they are ugly, that they are fat, that they are unworthy, that they are, whatever. So when toxic abusers get caught cheating, oftentimes what they'll do is they'll say, well, you made me do it because I'm no longer sexually attracted to you. I'm sorry. Bullshit. They cheat at the drop of a hat for whatever reason they decide to come up with. It has nothing to do with you. Somebody who decides to cheat has made a decision. They have made a very, very, very poor choice, and they have decided to be dishonorable and out integrity. And instead of being honest and coming back to the partner and going, thrill is gone. I'm not feeling it. We should separate. I need to move on. They never do that, because if you notice, that's taking personal responsibility, which is something that abusers never do. So What you got to do is you got to understand all of this crap that was shoved into your head is not yours. Now, let's take this a step further. There is so much information here. I'm going to be shoving a lot at you guys. I want you to get this. I want you to get that you are worthy, that you are amazing, that you are beautiful, that you are fantastic, that you are, everything that the abuser, opposite of what the abuser told you in the devalue and discard phase. Because that's what they do. In the beginning, they tell you all the wonderful things, but then they do the devalue and the discard, and suddenly they hate your singing voice, they hate your speaking voice, they hate your laughter, they hate your hair, they hate your body, they hate everything, because they're all about the hate. Oh yeah. So, all right. So self-esteem is really a multifaceted thing. So not everybody is able to look in the mirror and say nice things to themselves, because we've been so programmed by the negative, the nasty, the vicious, the cruel, the mean. So sometimes we can't even look in the mirror. And that's what I was starting to say, is that I ask my clients, do you look in the mirror? And oftentimes they will say no, or not just no, but only to brush my teeth, or only to brush my hair and then I'm out, or only to put makeup on and I don't really look at anything. And then I say, okay, it's not what you're seeing that's bothering you. What are you telling yourselves? And at that point, that's when most of them go, because they're not even aware that this negative internal voice is just the whole time, right? So that's when I invite and encourage them. It's like, okay, tiny little steps, because it's hard to look in the mirror if you are telling yourself horrible things about you. So it's really important to take baby steps. Just notice, what are you saying when you look at yourself? Are you pointing out every single flaw? Are you being mean to you? Are you being vicious? Are you being cruel? Are you saying that you're fat or too thin or too this or too that, not muscular enough, too muscular, too much, not enough, too much, not enough. That's the realm that the abuser lives in, is too much, not enough. And then we're supposed to figure out how to navigate between those two, because as soon as they tell us we're fat and we lose weight, then we're too thin. And then when we get too thin, they say, oh, well, you need to gain weight. And then we gain weight and we're too fat. Or you're too emotional. Okay, so we shut down. Well, you're not emotional enough. I don't know what you're thinking. Okay, then we get expressive. Well, you're too emotional. Anybody else see the crazy train here? I sure do. Woo, woo. It's no fun. It is no fun. So this is the craziness that children are raised with, when they've got a narcissistic parent or an abusive parent of any kind, whether it's malignant borderline or whether it's malignant narcissism. Sorry, I'm kind of going blah, 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 because I just had a whole bunch of caffeine. Anyway, so basically what it is if you cannot look in the mirror, we need to retrain this. This is the problem. This, your body is not. Let me just say that again. This is the problem. What you are telling yourself about yourself nonstop, 24/7. That's the problem. Not who you are. Not the meat skeleton that you live in. This thing gets us through life. This thing is amazing. It lasts, if you take good care of it, about 90 years or so, and we do all sorts of things in it. We do gymnastics, we jog, we walk, we do tumbling, we swim, we love, we, do whatever. This thing is amazing, but we get taught to ignore it. Totally. So in working with targets of abuse, and especially children, what I have found is that when they have been physically abused, corporal punishment, they stop feeling pain. That is a scary thing, because pain, just like anger, is a warning sign that something is seriously wrong and we should be paying attention to it. So we ignore physical pain. So I've had children sit on my couch that have been horrifically abused, and they will tell me stories of, slamming their fingers in doors and not even realizing it until they walked away and got jerked back. Yeah. So we absolutely disconnect from our meat skeleton. We disconnect from this vessel that takes us through life, and we stop feeling on so many levels, but especially on a physical level. How many times have I heard from targets of abuse, they can't tell when they're hungry. They can't see themselves for who they really are. They look in the mirror and they see something monstrous. And I look at them and I see something beautiful, So there's a huge, huge disconnect there. So we don't see ourselves for who we are. We don't feel our own signs. We have a hard time trusting our gut because we are so disconnected from our body because of our abuser. So the shame that they throw onto us, the don't love your body, don't do this, don't do that. And I'd like to go a little bit deeper on this. So let's take this to the next level. So when kids get the message of you're not good enough, you're this, you're that, and you throw in a religious message on top of that, how dare you have a body? How dare you? Don't you dare, touch yourself. Don't you dare love yourself. Don't you dare wear a bikini. Don't wear clothing that's too, blah, 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 blah. So, you get all of that stuff and you get the message very clearly that bodies are not okay and that it's not okay to have one and that it's not okay to feel your body and that it's not okay, period, to exist. So when you're dealing with somebody who's got eating disorders, who is an egoist, especially who had an abusive, really horrible, awful, terrible parent, they're trying to disappear. They're literally trying to disappear. They ignore the body completely. They don't hear the hunger. They don't hear the growling. They don't feel the pain of, oh my gosh, my stomach is empty. I need to feed it. I need to fill this, so that I have energy and I've got the fuel to keep going. We really don't have that. We don't feel our bodies because we've been so pushed out of our bodies by all of the trauma. So this is all trauma-based. Our body image is based in trauma. So here's the thing. It's really important to work on the trauma. The trauma is basically, the trauma and the self-esteem is what's going to get you to the next level. And I keep telling this to people, and it's so funny to me because it's like, there was this person that I told this to. I was like, okay, you got to work on this, you got to work on this, and you got to work on this. And they were like, yeah, whatever. And so, no, that didn't happen. And then finally, they got some sort of wake-up call and they started doing the work. And then they came in and were like, wow, you weren't kidding. This is really life-altering. And I'm like, yes, it is. Let me go find a wall to bang my head into. I've been telling you this for 2 years. It's like, yes, I'm not kidding. You got to do the work. So it's trauma-based. We got to figure out, what did our parents tell us about our bodies? What did they say about who we are? Did they make things somatic? Did they make it be that we had to be perfect in every way, shape, or form? That's another body image thing that we get. Oh no, it has to be perfect. Oh no, it has to be perfect. Oh, well, you can't go out because you're not perfect. This isn't perfect. This one eyebrow is flipping out. You can't go. Do you see where I'm going? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. Good enough. It's good enough. You see me come on here sometimes with no makeup and sometimes with my hair wet. And you know what? It's good enough. It is. There it is. So you just live with good enough. So they are filled with shame and they spew their shame over us and they make us feel like we're not good enough to wear a bikini, not good enough to pose without a shirt. So Sebastian Stan, who is Winter Soldier in the Marvel world, he just recently posted his first shirtless selfie and he talked about all of the shame he felt about his own body. And I was like, honey, let me just tell you something. I would be a cougar for you, okay? You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous inside and out. I love you. You're awesome. I love what you talk about. I love you. You're a great guy. So do you see where I'm going with that? I mean, this man is literally drop dead gorgeous, and he was sitting there thinking he wasn't good enough. And in Hollywood, that is very rampant. I think I've talked about that before. Men and women both suffer from body image issues because of whatever childhood stuff is going on, or if you're in an industry like modeling or Hollywood or whatever, you've got people constantly telling you you're not good enough, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too this, you're too that, and you start questioning who you are in this world. And if you can't get roles because you're not 300 cut, it's ridiculous. And then for women in that industry often get told at age 24 that they're too old. Again, let me just, that's such a load of crap. Anyway, so the point being is Oh, yeah, and Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton is another one that has posted multiple times on body image and self-image and self-esteem, because you're constantly getting these narcissists who work in that industry telling you that you're not good enough and you're not this and you're not that and you're da 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 da. So really, this is where you've got to rely on self-esteem, not other esteem. And this is where we get screwed up, is that we keep thinking that if we get approval from outside, that we're going to feel good and this is going to stop. It doesn't. You literally have to put this down like a rabid dog. You really do. So here's the thing. If you cannot look in the mirror, here's what I need you to do. I need you to take baby steps. So the baby step would be, at the very least, write yourself a kind letter. What do you like about you? What is awesome about you? What do you love about your body? And if you cannot find anything, I want you to think long and hard. What does your body do for you? Well, it gets you through life. Wow, I've got great legs. Awesome. Start small. You got to start small. For me, it was the shame of the religion. My dad was a religious nun. If you've read What's Wrong with Your Dad, you know that. So he used the religion. He was also molesting me at the time. So it was very confusing, you know. So, you know, the whole thing about, no, you can't wear a bikini. No, you can't. They would hate dresses like this. They wouldn't even let me wear dresses like this. So, you know, it's like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. But I'm going to be molesting you. What? Yeah. Messed up. Anyway, so I didn't even wear a bikini until I was in my 40s, you know, because by that time I'd been doing the mirror work long enough and I was confident enough and I really didn't give a flying rat's ass what anybody else thought. So, you know, yeah, I wear bikinis now. It's awesome. So, you know, it's small things like that. So you got to start working on doing nice things for you, saying nice things about you. Pick something. Pick something about your body that you love. Hey, body, you get me through life. You help me walk to the bus stop and back. You help me do exercises. You help me do sit-ups. You help me sit. You help me, you know, whatever. And you start acknowledging your body, because let me tell you something. You ignore your body is going to start crapping out on you. This is where we get the autoimmune diseases. This is where we get all of the problems with our muscles. This is where we get all the problems with, you know, diet and diabetes and, you know, because we ignore our body. Our body is talking to us all the time. We got to listen to it. Our gut is talking to us all the time. We've got to listen to it, but we don't. Why? Because our abuser would sit there, especially a parent. We would see the pink elephant. And by the way, I love my pink elephant that you got me. Thank you so much. It's in my office. The pink elephant in the corner of the room, which is the abuse, right? We see the dysfunction and we go, this isn't normal. This is abuse. This is, hello. The abuser goes, you don't see that, whap, right? And we learn very quickly to stop seeing. We learn very quickly to stop feeling. We learn very quickly not to have any body reaction to the abuse, because the abuser gets off on it. If you show fear, if you show sadness, if you're angry, whatever, they get off on it. So we learn to not feel. And that is such a mistake for us in the recovery process, because in recovery from all of this, in getting back into loving ourselves, really, we have got to feel. We have got to feel. You have to feel. You have to feel. And that means feeling the feelings, and that means feeling your body. That means, do you have hunger pains? Are you hungry? Have you eaten? Are you feeling full? What is your body telling you? Do you need iron? You know, do you need vitamin D? Are you sitting in an office all day long and you get no vitamin D? Guess what? Your body is going to start aching when you don't get enough vitamin D. Things are going to start breaking down. All of these vitamins work to keep us running, but we don't understand that, because it's like we've separated so far from our body because of the abuse. So in order to start healing from that, you have got to start feeling, and you've got to start doing nice things for yourself. So that means if you're not exercising, you need to start exercising. If you are not making sure that you have the right amount of vitamins, I strongly suggest you get your butt to your doctor or to a naturopath and get your blood drawn and see what you're lacking. Okay, hugely important. You know, you start doing the mirror work. You start working the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. Get it, work it, live it, do it. It's really helpful. And if you don't like that one, there's another one called You Are a Badass. That is a great That is a great thing. So you start getting back in touch with your body. And one of the things you need to do is you need to make amends to your body. Hello, body. Guess what? I'm going to work you out. We're going to get some exercise. I'm going to feed you right. Oh, we need to drink a lot of water. Let's drink some water. Now, living in the desert here, I drink about a gallon a day. I have to, because otherwise, I would evaporate into nothing. So you've got to make sure that you're drinking enough water. You got to make sure that your joints are lubricated with water. Water is huge. If you don't like the taste of water, drop some lemons in it, or drop some limes, or do something to flavor it so that you drink it. Make sure you're drinking enough water. When you are looking in the mirror, this is what's going to happen, especially if you have not been looking in the mirror. You're going to look in the mirror and immediately all of the inner critic stuff is going to come flying forward. So what you are going to do is you're going to stick with it. What you might want to do is jot down some of the nasty things that the inner critic is saying, okay? And we're going to evict the inner critic, okay? So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to start with the mirror work. We're going to figure out what is being said to us. And it's usually along the lines of, oh, look at this imperfection. Look at that imperfection. Look at this imperfection. Look at that imperfection. Look at this. Oh, my breasts are not big enough. Blah, blah, blah. Or my muscles are not big enough, or, whatever bullshit your abuser gave you. Okay. So jot it down, because then what I want you to do is I want you to challenge it. Thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because I say so. You say so. You're the boss. I am the boss of you. You are not the boss of me. I am statements are huge. I am beautiful. I am handsome. I am smart. I am funny. I am kind. I am whatever they have told you. You say the polar opposite. And you're going to need to do this multiple times, because what we're doing is we're putting this down and we're bringing up the good stuff, because eventually the good stuff will be the go-to. Seriously, the good stuff will be the go-to. But you got to get rid of the inner critic. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to say, hi, good to see you. Oh, wow. Look, listen to all of this. Let me write all this down. Okay. Set it aside. Good to see you. Have a great day. I give you permission to like yourself. That's it. Like is good. We're not up to love yet. Like is good. Stick with like. Or you can even say something like, hey, you know what? You're okay. That's good enough. That's good enough. If you can't get to like, you're okay is good enough. Good enough. That's what we're going to be living in. No more of this not enough stuff. No more of this not good enough. Fuck that shit. We're going for good enough. Okay. So then you do the mirror work, right? As long as you can. And when it becomes uncomfortable, stop, but always go back to it. Okay. But then what you're going to do is you're going to write a letter to your inner critic, whoever that voice is. Whose voice is that? That's not yours. Guarantee it. That is not yours. So whose voice is that? Is that your ex-partner? Is that your father? Is that your mother? Is that your grandparent? Is that a teacher? Who is that inner critic? Who damaged you? Who said that it was not okay to have a body? Who said that it was not okay to exist? Who said that it was not okay to love yourself? Who said that it wasn't okay to wear a bikini? Who said that it wasn't okay to wear a sundress? Who said that it wasn't okay to work out and like what you see when you work out? Who said it wasn't okay to look in the mirror and love what you see? Who said all that? So, dear abuser, or dear dad, or dear mom, or dear whoever, you said to me all of this inner critic stuff, and this has harmed me, and I'm not playing anymore, and I'm evicting your ass. You're not allowed to live in my head rent-free another effing second. Fuck the fuckity fuck out of fucking fuck you. I'm evicting you. Be done. Be gone, be gone, be gone. I'm not playing anymore. And then you trot it out to the barbecue, you read it out loud once, and you burn it, and you let it go. Okay? Now, the next thing you're going to do, and I know we got questions coming up, the next thing we're going to do is you're going to do something called thought stopping. Thought stopping. So when a negative, nasty thought comes up, you do not want to invite it in. You also do not want to resist it, because if you resist it, you do the whole, thought I don't want to be thinking about. I don't want to think about that thought. I'm not thinking about that thought. I'm not thinking about that. What am I thinking about the whole time? I'm thinking about that thought. And if we invite it in, well, then we start circling the drain with all the nasty things that this thing is saying. You don't want to do that. So when one of those thoughts pops up about your body, right? Something negative, something nasty, an internal critic thing. Oh, that's Fascinating. Yeah, I see you. Yeah. Okay, that's grandma's voice. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I know you want me to make me feel bad. And guess what? I am no longer playing that game. And in fact, I'm going to be writing you a letter as soon as I'm done here. So thanks for playing. Go bye-bye. Bye-bye now, right when you get work. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. And you don't let it in. You acknowledge it. You don't resist it, but you also don't let it in. And then if this is a thought that is a constant thought, it's a knee-jerk thought, this is one that you have all the time, I want you to write it a letter. I want you to write it a letter, and I want you to tell it where it can go. Sideways with an unlubricated baseball bat. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay. Now we're going to take questions. Okay, so all right, is there any real difference in the damage to self-esteem, self-image caused to kids if they were abused physically or emotionally? You know, both are horrible. Both physical and emotional abuse are horrible. The physical thing is, though, you know, my dad would hit me, right? And so I wake up on the other side of the room kind of going, what just happened? You know, and eventually I could get away from that, you know, and eventually that stopped. But the problem with the emotional abuse is it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It becomes our internal critic. It becomes our internal dialogue with ourselves. And until we are able to recognize it and put it down and then replace it with the healthier, positive, kinder, gentler, you know, dad or mom 2.0, you know, this is going to constantly be at you, and you've got to put it down. So for me, what happened is that I was walking down the street of Chico, because that's, you know, where I was going to school. I'd already left home, you know, so I wasn't afraid of getting hit. I did have a startle reaction. If anybody raised their hand, I was like, you know, expecting to get hit. But, and that's part of PTSD. So I was walking down the street and I tripped. Okay. And I went down to my knees and I hurt. And the first thing I heard was, oh my God, you are so stupid. I mean, it was just mean. It was vicious. And it was my dad's voice. It was totally my dad's voice. So I heard that for the first time. I was like, oh, wow, that's how I talk to myself? No, I'm not stupid. I tripped. I fell. Nobody cares. And if they do, that's their problem. I got up and I went about my day. But what I did is I made a note of it. And when I saw my therapist the next time, I was like, what the fuck is this? You know, because I was like, where did that come from? You know, not realizing that that had been running non-stop in the background. That is what emotional abuse is that they literally brainwash us, come in, replace whatever kind thoughts we have with harsh, mean, critical, not enough, you're stupid, how could you do that? Why did you say that? Blah, 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 blah. Why are you existing? Kind of thoughts. And then we're like, you know, we don't even realize that that's running nonstop in the subconscious all the time. That's why you've got to bring it to the light. That's why the mirror work is important. This is why I tell you guys, yeah, this thing is going to fight you. And it's good. It's good that it's fighting you because now you hear it. Now there is no question whose voice this is. There is no question what's been running in the background. And now you can confront it. Now you can challenge it. Now you can write it down and go, okay, so you think I'm not good enough. Well, guess what, motherfucker? I am good enough. Why? Because I fucking say so. Because I am the boss, not my abuser. See where I'm going with that? This is why it's good to do the mirror work, because you can confront the thoughts. You hear them. You hear them clearly for the first time. Clearly. Are they uncomfortable? Oh, yeah. Is it uncomfortable to confront and to challenge? Oh, yeah. Because the inner child is going to be freaking out because we are confronting and challenging that parental unit. Or we are confronting and challenging that partner, that romantic partner that told us that we weren't good enough and they left us for somebody else because we weren't good enough and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. You betcha. But once you get past the uncomfort and the discomfort, I think I just made a new word. Once you get past the discomfort and you realize it's not that bad. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it hurts. But it's kind of like, how do I explain this? It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Okay, you gotta rip that Band-Aid off and put medicine in it to make sure that the wound heals, right? So the medicine is like the self-esteem work. It is like doing the mirror work. It is saying positive things, you know, but you got to get that Band-Aid off of it. You got to rip that Band-Aid off in order to put the real good healing stuff in there so that this heals without a scar. So there that is. Wow, I just went off on a tangent. Anyway, the point being is it, yes, the physical abuse is horrible. It is just as damaging. It is, because you, as a kid, you go, why did you hit me? Why did you think that I was worthy of being hit? And you have to undo all of that stuff, so that you don't get involved with another physically abusive person. But then we have to undo all of the emotional damage that sits there and plays in the background that we're not even aware of, which is why you got to do the mirror work. So there that is. And Glenn Schiraldi's book is phenomenal because it forces you to go through and go, where am I? Where am I with this? Where am I with that? Where am I physically? Where am I emotionally? Where am I, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then the CPTSD From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Awesome book. Get it, read it, do it. And then the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. This is all connected, guys. This is not, it's not separate. It's not like you can just do one. Oh, I'll just do the self-esteem workbook. I'll be fine. Well, it'll help for sure. But if you really want to make yourself bulletproof, you do the whole shebang. And that way they don't even come sniffing around, just like Susanna and I were talking about this weekend. When you really work on yourselves, they don't even come sniffing around because they know you're not going to put up with it. So there it is. Okay, so I hope that answered the question. There is no real difference. It's just that the physical stuff goes away faster because you get away from it, but you still have to work on why they were hitting you. It's like, what made you think I was worthy of that? And then the emotional stuff is the stuff that becomes our internal critic. So food was used as reward or punishment in my childhood. Can food overeating become a form of self-harm due to this abuse? Abso-freaking-lutely. So food, and I did a whole thing on this probably about 6 months ago. Food is often used by abusers to really mess us up. So they either punish us by withholding the food. How dare you have that last soda? How dare you eat that last whatever? How dare you eat this? How dare you eat that, right? We get punished for actually feeding our bodies. Or they shove food onto us. Well, here, have this ice cream, have this sweet cake, have this, have this, have this, have this. And they'll force us, my dad did this, you need to eat everything on your plate. Well, why? Well, because they're starving children in China. Okay, we'll box it up and send it to them. I always got hit for that one. I just was such a smart ass when I was a kid. But, but it doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, how is eating everything on my plate when I'm no longer hungry going to help? And then, obviously, as I turned into a teenager, I was overeating because I was trying to self-comfort because, yes, food is a drug, guys. Hate to break it to you, because it releases all the endorphins, the dopamine, serotonins, norepinephrines. It is a feel-good thing. It is a comfort thing. And so we turn to that. If that's the only safe thing that we can turn to, we do that. If we can turn to drugs and alcohol, we turn to that, So yeah, they absolutely use food to mess us up as far as eating is concerned. And if we're looking too good, it's just like I said earlier. If we're looking too good, they start saying, well, you're too thin, you're too this, you're too that. Well, now you're too fat, you're too this, you're too much, not enough, too much, not enough, too much, not enough. And food is definitely used as a tool to punish. It is definitely used as a tool to manipulate. It is definitely used as a tool to control. Absolutely. I can't tell you the number of adult children of abusers that tell me that their abuser would dole the food out so that they were just starving all the time, just barely making it. Because kids need food. When they're growing and they're going through growth spurts, they need food. But the parent would sit there and go, oh, well, you're fat, you're this, you're that. And they show me pictures of them when they were that age. And I'm like, you're beautiful, you're perfect. That's exactly what a child should look. So this skewed view of food, this skewed view of, nourishment, because they don't know we're having food shoved at us nonstop and then told that we're fat. WTF. Yeah, it's crazy making. It is crazy making. And this is the reason why abusive parents are so damaging, because they make all of these weird demands on us with these weird, eat all your food, or, you're a pig, you're eating too much, all of this stuff. And then we don't even know who we are when we look in the mirror, because we're basing it off of what they've told us, which is why we have got to get rid of this and get communication with our own bodies. So there that is. Okay. How do you handle an anxiety attack? Oh, wait, did I get that one? Yes, I did. Okay. How do you handle an anxiety attack when breathing exercises don't seem to work? So the best thing to do is self-soothing. And that's hard to do when you're in the middle of an anxiety attack. So when we're in the middle of the anxiety attack, what's happening is our amygdala gets hijacked. So, let's relate this back to body image. They're attacking us. We're supposed to be going out. You know, this is another way they would do things to us. It's like if we had a date, they would say the most humiliating, horrible, awful things to our potential date. You know, they would, you know, about us, you know, or they would imply things were going on that were not going on. I mean, it's just crazy how they do that stuff. So yeah, anxiety attacks are going to happen. Breathing exercises don't always work because when we're in the middle of it and we're not practicing, see, this is the thing. You got to practice, and it's not going to happen overnight. So when you're having an anxiety attack, what's happening is the amygdala has been hijacked by a thought. Okay. The amygdala, God love it, is stupid. Like 3 O's. Oh my God. Stupid. Cannot tell the difference between a real threat, a thought about a real threat, something that you're daydreaming about, an emotional threat, a thought about an emotional threat, or something that's happened in the past. To this little guy, it's all here now, here now, here now, here now. So we have a thought, right? Just a thought. And this thing lights up like a Christmas tree and goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, tells the hippocampus, hypothalamus, oh my gosh, we need cortisol. Cortisol is our stress hormone. We start tensing up, right? Our ears and our shoulders become one, and we start taking puffy little breaths that don't go anywhere, right? So now the oxygen CO2 exchange is completely foobarred, fucked up beyond all repair. So that tells another part of the brain, oh my God, we're going to die. There's not enough oxygen, CO2. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? We need more energy. We need more energy. Tells the adrenal gland that sits on top of the kidneys to release everything at once. So now we're shaking like a leaf, pounding heart, pounding heart, pounding heart, racing thoughts, racing thoughts, racing thoughts. That's how we're breathing, right? So there's nothing really good going on at that point. So it's hard to remember to breathe. And sometimes what you have to do is hold your breath because we've over-oxygenated. Take a deep breath, hold it, hold it. I know you're going to want to breathe out. Do not breathe out, hold it. Let it out as slowly as you possibly can. I'm safe. I am okay. And you say this out loud. I'm safe. I'm okay. Nothing is going to kill me. There is no saber-toothed tiger. I'm safe. I'm okay. And you do that as loudly and as long as you need to do. Are people going to think you're nuts? Yeah, fuck them. I don't care. It's not their panic attack. It's yours. So you got to do self-soothing talk. If you don't do the self-soothing talk and you're just trying to breathe, it's not going to happen. It's got to be a combination. Again, guys, you can't just do one part and expect it to work. You got to do the combination. You got to throw your chest open. You got to go, okay, I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I'm freaking the fuck out right now, but I'm okay. Everything's fine. There is nothing going to kill me. Hello, amygdala. Everything is fine. Shut the fuck down. Everything is fine. See where I'm going with that? So yeah, it's hard and it takes practice. Do I have panic attacks? Yes, I do. So yeah, when it first starts hitting, it's very difficult to breathe. And really with the breathing, what you want to do is just take a huge, ginormous, deep breath and you hold it and you let it out as slowly as you can as you are doing the self-soothing. I'm safe. I'm fine. I'm okay. Everything's good. Nothing's going to harm me. I'm all right. I am safe. And you just keep repeating. Rinse, lather, repeat. Yeah. That's what you got to do. But it's hard and it takes practice. It takes practice. It does. I've been doing this for years and there are still some times when shit goes down that I'm like, okay, I'm not breathing. What the hell? So yeah, it just takes practice, guys. And you got to practice. And you want to practice when you're not having a panic attack. The other thing you want to do too is you want to figure out what is your first clue that you're having a panic attack. Oftentimes people don't recognize it until they're in the full-blown keeling over part of it. Why? Because we've disconnected from our bodies, because we don't feel. So for me, I can tell I'm starting a panic attack when this happens. Body starts tensing up. I can feel it. My ears and my shoulders become one, and I start, shaking. It's like, oh my God, 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 racing thoughts. Hello. So we got to pay attention to our bodies. This is all connected. It is all one. This is what I keep saying. It's like we are not separate. Things are not separate. It's like the body image, the panic attacks are all part of the same issue, which is why you got to do all of the books so that you can work on all of it. And believe me, it helps. It really does. Nothing is more gratifying than to have a resistant client finally come in and go, you know what? You were right. The books are amazing. I feel so much better. It's like, thank you. It's like, I'm not just whistling Dixie out of my ass here, people. Do it. Do the books. Do the work. Do the work. It's not going to happen by osmosis. You can listen to me until the cows come home, and that's great, and share these videos with as many people as you can. But if you don't do the work, you're only going to make it to a certain point and not any further. So you got to do the work. All right. Where am I now? Okay. Actually, so it has to do with body image as well. It has to be, what are you feeling? How do you know you're having a panic attack? What's your first clue? Some people, the first clue is the flush. You know, some people get really flushed, you know, that flush, you know. For me, I notice it when I'm like this. And then it's like, oh, crap. Okay, we're going to breathe now. I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I don't need to kill anybody. Everybody's okay. I'm okay. You're okay. Everything is okay. Do you see where I'm going? So you got to figure out what your first physical clue is that you're having a panic attack, and immediately start breathing. Immediately start doing self-soothing talk. And it takes practice, and it takes getting back in touch with your body. All comes back. See, everything is connected. All right. Okay, I hope that answered the question. My mother refuses to admit the horrible things she did and said to me during my childhood. Not surprising. How do I stop feeling horrible for separating myself from my relationship with her? Here's the deal. If you were not related to this person, would you have anything to do with them? The answer is probably going to be no. So why are you making yourself feel terrible for separating yourself from somebody who was abusive? It doesn't matter that they were your parent, okay? I love it when people start quoting the Bible, and it's usually abusers that do this. You know, honor thy mother and father. Well, the next line is, parents, do not bring your children to anger, okay? It's a two-way street, even in the Bible. So do not feel guilty for this. If you were not related to this person, would you have, seriously, anything to do with them? And if the answer is no, you're doing the right thing. It's called self-preservation. When I realized at 17 that my dad was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, that's the kindest thing I could say, you know, and that it wasn't safe for me to stay there anymore, I booked out to the next town. And then as soon as I could, I moved to Los Angeles, which was clear on the opposite end of the state. And then as soon as I could, I moved to frickin' Oregon, because it was like, you know what? I'm beginning to understand why my other sister moved to Europe. You know, you got to make yourself safe. And leaving abuse is always the right answer. Always. Do not feel guilty. If you are feeling guilty, you've got to figure out, why are they doing the whole, you're not good enough, you're not a good daughter, you're not a good son, why don't you take care of me, I'm just poor little old me, victim, victim, victim. That's what they do. That's what they do. Here's the deal. I saw a meme the other day that I loved, and this can be used for anything. And it said, if you had wanted me to speak kindly of you, you probably should have treated me better. That's very true. And it's true of parents that are abusive to their children and then somehow expect them miraculously to want to take care of them in their old age. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. I'm not going to stick around for abuse. I'm not. You know, I'm not, period. So, you know, you did the right thing. Don't feel guilty. Write a letter to your guilt. Tell it to F off. Get with a good therapist. Figure out why you're feeling guilty. Where's this coming from? Where is the disease to please? Who are you trying to please? Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker. Get it, read it, live it, love it. It's a great book. Or you can get Codependent No More, Beyond Codependent No More, both by Melanie Beattie. Both of those are phenomenal books. Get those, because we're codependent. We're codependent with the abuser, no matter who the abuser is. We're codependent with them. So we got to break that. So yeah, don't feel guilty for separating from that person. If they were abusive, period. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody. And oftentimes, family members will act as flying monkeys, and they'll do the whole, well, you know, it's your mom. Well, you know, it's your dad. Well, you know, it's your cousin. It's your this. It's your that. Doesn't matter. They were abusive. I owe them nothing, and I don't need to explain myself to you. Period. That's a boundary, guys. I don't need to explain myself to you. That is what you're going to do from now on, because our abusers teach us to constantly defend our position. Well, but why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why'd you do it this way? Why'd you do it that way? No, we don't owe anybody an explanation. We're doing it because it's a fucking boundary. End of discussion. Fuck off. Seriously, you owe nobody an explanation for choosing not to be in relationship with your mother. Yep. Self-esteem. Because people with self-esteem do not put up with abuse. People with self-esteem love their bodies. People with self-esteem are in touch with their bodies. They like to say nice, kind things to them. They know when they are making a good decision because they listen to their gut, because they can feel their gut. Self-esteem and body image are all connected. You got to feel your gut. Your gut talks to us. Our gut talks to us all the time. Our head and our heart talk to us too. But the problem with these two guys is they tell stories. Okay, it's always a, well, yes, but, or a no, but, and then a huge story. The gut is a simple yes or no answer to a question. Are you doing the right thing with your mom? Yes or no, quick. There you go. There's your answer. It's probably resounding. Yeah, I'm doing the right thing. That's your gut. So don't feel guilty. You're doing the right thing. Sticking around with abuse is always the wrong answer. Always, always, always. You know, and here's the other thing. I do not believe that a merciful God would want us to. I really don't. You know, the God I believe in is, yes, I am Buddhist, but I'm also Christian. Yes, that you can do the two of them together. The God I believe in is kind and merciful and fun and makes amazing things, you know, and enjoys beauty and happiness and things like that. Why in the world would a God like that want us to stick around somebody who is beating us, who is harming us, who is hurting us, who's telling us that we're ugly, who's telling us not to feel our own bodies, who's telling us not to enjoy this amazing machine that the Lord has given us? Hello, you know, not to get religious or anything, but to get religious or anything, you know, bodies are really amazing. The brain is amazing. You know, it's like, enjoy it. It was given to us for a reason. You know, and it wasn't to be abused. So there it is. All right. Sorry. Went off, way off the track there. Okay. I suffer from anxiety, depression, and borderline personality disorder. What do I do first when I have suicidal thoughts to stop them? Okay. So when you're having suicidal thoughts, oftentimes what I have found with borderline, okay, especially the quiet borderline, is that the suicidal thoughts are an expression of pain. So it's easier to kill ourselves in our minds than it is to really confront the pain. You know, we're feeling pain. We want that pain to stop. So it's really important to acknowledge, what am I feeling pain about? What am I feeling pain about? What do I need to acknowledge here? And you're worthy to live. The best revenge to do with an abuser is to live well, honest to God. So you start going, okay, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? So one reason why people with borderline immediately jump to the suicidal thoughts is it short circuits the having to feel. Because remember, emotional regulation is very difficult for somebody who's been abused when they were little, because, you know, borderline is based in trauma. So emotional regulation is very difficult. So it feels very overwhelming and scary to confront the pain or to confront the feelings. But that is where you have to go. So you've got to be like, where am I feeling the pain? Where am I feeling the pain? Where am I feeling it? Where am I feeling it? What's going on? And you start writing, journal it out. And remember, call a warm line. Call somebody to talk to. Do not isolate. At that point in time, if you're having suicidal thoughts, call the suicide crisis line. Abso-freaking-lutely. Suicide crisis line, it's the national hotline. It's 1-800, I think it's 877, crap. Okay, admins, get the suicide hotline for me. So that is the thing to do. You need to talk at that point. You need to get it out of your head. You need to get it onto paper. You need to speak it. You need to figure out what you're feeling. What are you feeling? Why are you feeling suicidal? What's the thought? And, you know, and this is a self-esteem thing too, because people that love themselves do not try to kill themselves. So it's working on the self-esteem. It's recognizing you are worthy of living. You are worthy of existing, that you do not need to kill yourself. And sometimes we think when we're in the depth of abuse, like we're in an abusive relationship with a parent or a partner or whatever, we think, oh, if I kill myself, they'll finally get it. They'll understand how horrible they are. They'll get, nope, they won't. Trust me on that one. The best revenge, honest to God, is you get you healthy, you get you loving yourself, you get yourself emotionally regulated, and you go live a fantastic life. Seriously. It's like, go be awesome. And remind yourself that you are allowed to have feelings. You're allowed to feel, even the suicidal thoughts. You know, really write them out. What do they mean? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What is this really about? You know, who do you really want it off? You know, who are you really pissed at Oftentimes that's another way that we do that, is that we have suicidal thoughts, but the reality is we're really pissed at somebody else and we'd really like to harm them, but we can't, so we try to harm ourselves. So it's really important. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Get with a good DBT therapist. Super, super important. So anxiety and depression, I'm hoping that you have got with a good therapist or that you are with a good psychiatrist. Get onto antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds. That will help a lot. For borderline, you've got to start working on the original trauma. You got to work on the CPTSD book by Pete Walker. It's a great book. Get with a good therapist to do it because it is going to be triggering. Same thing with the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. It is going to be triggering, but do work on that. So when you have the suicidal thoughts, write it out or call the warm line or call the suicide hotline. That is the best way to do it, and figure out, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Who do I really want to hurt? How am I been hurt? What's the pain? What do I need to do about this? Feel the feels. In order to heal, you got to feel it. So that would be my suggestion for that. All right. My disability reminds people that their body will one day decay. It's very isolating. I don't mind my disability and I like my body. How do I deal with people who react badly to my disability or who are scared? Well, that's their issue. You just recognize that that is their issue. And you just kind of go, hey, I don't feel bad about this. I love my body. You should love your body. It's like, and yes, someday we are all going to be maggot food, and someday our bodies will break down and stop doing what they should, and don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. And I think that's the most frustrating thing for people that have disabilities, is that people do respond stupidly, and it's really about their issue. That's their issue, not yours. It's like, just recognize this is not your problem. So separate. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. And good for you for loving your body. That is phenomenal. I wish more people did. Disabled, non-disabled. I wish everybody loved their bodies. I really do. And got in touch with them, because I don't think we would have as many issues, eating disorders, diabetes, etc., if we were in touch with our bodies, if we did allow ourselves to feel, if we did allow ourselves to like ourselves. I think we would listen to our bodies a lot more. So yeah. All right. Question. Some therapists insist that there is no recovery if there is no contact. Sorry. If no contact isn't completely possible, is low contact and gray rock good enough for healing? Yes. So here's the deal. Some therapists have never bothered to educate themselves on interpersonal, intimate partner violence. That's what it's being called now. Can we just go with domestic violence? It's shorter. So, okay, they have not been educated. So yes, there are some therapists, and they are bad therapists out there, that tell you, oh no, you can't go no contact with an abusive father or an abusive mother or an abusive sibling or an abusive abusive partner, because if there's no contact, there's no healing. That's not your problem. Their healing is not your problem. Your issue is getting the fuck out of abuse, making sure you're safe, making sure that they never have an excuse to harm you again, period. And any counselor that insists that you stay in touch with an abuser is a bad goddamn counselor. Get rid of them, period. And I'll tell you what, it's those now I'm on it. It's those counselors that give a bad name to counseling. And those are the counselors that make people go, oh, I hate counseling. I don't want to go to counseling. All I did was get abused by my abuser, blah, 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 blah. Here's the deal. If you are with an abuser, do not go to couples counseling. Do not go to family counseling. All they are going to do is take what is said in counseling and turn it on you and use it to abuse you. Do not go to couples counseling with an abuser. Do not go to family counseling with an abusive parent or grandparent or whatever. It will backfire on you. Trust me on that. So not every therapist, in the newest issue of the ACA, now they're doing all of the intimate partner violence stuff. You know why? Because I have been squawking and embarrassing them, telling them that they're turning out counselors that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they have been. It's like this universities and the colleges have all been like, oh no, we don't want to talk about personality disorders because, we don't want to label anybody and we just don't want to hurt their little feelings. And that's the humanist bullshit. I'm sorry. If it walks like a narcissistic duck and it quacks like a narcissistic duck and it shits like a narcissistic duck, it's a fucking narcissistic duck. Sorry. I'm a little passionate about that. All right. So it pisses me off because they are churning out counselors that do not know how to deal with narcissistic abuse syndrome, which needs to be in the next DSM-5 or 6 or whatever the fuck number we're on. So yeah, I'm sorry. It just pisses me off. So if they're saying that you need to be in contact with the abuser in order to heal it, no, you don't. You need to fire that therapist. No, you're done. I'm sorry. I'm done being abused. Were you not clear on that, counselor person? I'm done being abused. That means no contact. How about you read all the studies that are out there? How about you read all the freaking books that are out there? How about you fucking educate yourself on how to help targets of abuse and not have them be continued to be abused when they're trying to seek help? Sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because this really pisses me off when I hear therapists doing that kind of shit. It just really pisses me off. So in answer to your question, go no contact. If you can go no contact, go no contact. Your healing is what's important, not theirs. Fuck them. That's up to them. You heal you. Gray rock and low contact is good as well if you have to stay in touch with them. So let's say that you're in a custody battle and you're having to stay in touch with them. Oh, and it's 1 o'clock. Okay, so a couple more questions, a few more questions, and then I'm going to... So after the 5 questions, okay? All right, so if you are in a custody battle with somebody, you're going to have to stay in touch with them. You know, if you share custody with somebody, you're going to have to stay in touch with them. But here's the deal. You're going to stick to email or text. That's it. And you are not going to respond to anything that has nothing to do with the children. Because what these assholes do is they will write you a 14-page manifesto accusing you of this, that, and the other thing, and you're a horrible person, and blah, blah, blah. And they want you to respond to every single thing. No, you only respond to what it has to do with the kids. Oh, pickup time is at 4. Great, see you at 4 o'clock. That's going to piss them off. Seriously, you stick to low contact, no contact, and you stick to email or text only. Now, if you are dealing with family members and they insist on calling you, text only. Text or email only. Why? Because now you got a documentation of everything. Because believe me, they will try to rewrite history. They will try to, gaslight. Hello. No, I never said that. I never said that. What are you talking about? Well, funny. In this email, send. It's like, there it is. You did say this. So yeah, you stick to text or email only. You stay low contact, no contact. And you do not get it on the phone with them because they will use that opportunity to keep you on the phone forever. I strictly tell my clients, if you get on the phone with them, you set a timer. And then when that timer dings, hey, sorry, somebody's at the door, got to go, bye, click. And you cut them off. Because otherwise, they will keep you on the phone for hours because you are their own personal audience and they are loving it. So no, you do not give them the opportunity to monopolize your time. Nope. Nope. You stick to email or text. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Question. I lost my mom 4 years ago. I'm dealing with complicated grief, an abusive relationship, and depression. I'm on medication and see a psychiatrist, but I still feel lost. What else can I be doing to get better? Okay, so I'm assuming that your mom was abusive because that's kind of what it sounds like. I hope I'm on the right track there. Okay, so grief is a sticky wicket when we've got an abuser, okay? Because normal grief is hard enough on its own. Okay, so normal grief, parent dies, we had a good relationship with them. You got to get through all the firsts, okay? With complicated grief, you got to get through all the firsts, and you're dealing with all the abuse that they did to you as well. So that lasts a lot longer. Grief actually lasts your entire life. It just kind of softens over time. It's not as intense. It's not as painful. But when there is abuse involved, there's a lot of unleft things, unfinished business. So my recommendation would be, if your psychiatrist is not doing talk therapy with you, get with a CBT therapist, cognitive behavioral therapist, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to write and burn letters to your mom. You're going to write and burn letters to your mom. So, dear mom, or hey bitch, whatever. You know, whatever the relationship was. Here's what I'm thinking. You did this, 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 and this is how it's affected me, and this is what's happening. And 4 years later, I'm still having a hard time with your death, you fucking bitch, or whatever you need to say. Okay. Especially if it's an abuser, you could just let them have it with both guns. Let them they're dead. Let them have it with both guns. Get it out of your head, get it onto paper, trot it out to the barbecue, read it out loud once as if they were still alive. Burn it, let it go. See how you feel. And you do that as many times as you need to. When my dad died, I wrote and burned probably about 12 or 14 letters to him because there was so much damage and so much abuse. When I got back from seeing my sister Nancy in Santa Barbara, I'm having to do another letter. I'm still in the middle of writing it because she informed me of things that I was not aware of that my dad did to her. So it's kind of like, you son of a bitch. Not only did you abuse me and my other sisters, you abused Nancy as well. You fucker. How dare you? And how dare you use the cat to do that? It's a long story. But the point being is, you know, it's an ongoing process when there's abuse. And my dad's been dead since 1997. So yeah, this brought up a lot of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Write him a letter and I'm going to burn it. And there we go. And you get it out, you know, and you get it out of your head. You get it onto paper. You trot it out to the barbecue and you burn it and you let it go. Then what you have to do is start working on forgiveness for you. It is not about your abuser. It is not. This is where everybody gets up in arms. They're like, I'm not going to forgive them. You don't have to. The forgiveness is for you. You forgive you. You forgive you for hanging on to the anger. Sometimes we hang on to the anger as a way to keep them alive, as a way to try to heal them. And that's the little kid inside of us. That's the inner child work that we have to be doing so that we let them go. Go. Just go. Go to God. Go to the light. Go figure it the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my head. You're not welcome here anymore. See where I'm going with that? So yeah, it's a process. And I would strongly suggest getting with a CBT therapist to help you work through that, work through the thoughts, work through the anger, work through the grief, work through all of that, because it's going to be a mixture of everything. And this is what's so confusing for survivors of abuse when we've had parents that were abusive. We simultaneously love and hate them because that's who we depended on when we were growing up for survival, right? But then we recognize that they're abusive and we hate what they did, right? And then we get stuck in this thing of, well, I shouldn't feel this way. Well, no, you're feeling this way because it's okay, because that's what you're feeling. Your feelings are valid. So work through that with a CBT therapist, get it out of your head, get it onto paper, trot it out to the barbecue, burn it. And it's going to be a process, guys. It's like when stuff comes up, just like with my sister Nancy, when she told me things that my dad did to her, I was enraged. Still am, you know, and it's like, how dare he? How dare he? You know? And so now I'm writing this about what he did to my sister. And it's not fair. And it's not right. It makes me angry. So yeah, you get it out of your head, get it onto paper, you trot it out to the barbecue, you burn it. You let it go. You let the words go to wherever they need to, heaven or hell, wherever. You let them go. Let them go. And then you work on forgiveness for you and forgiveness for them if you want to. You don't have to. You don't, you know, but you do got to let go of that anger. You do, because it's not going to serve you well. Anger and resentment is like picking up 2 hot coals, intending to throw them at somebody else, and you're the only one that gets burned, especially since they're dead. So there is that. Okay, I hope that answered the question. What do I mean when I say emotional regulation? Okay, so in borderline personality disorder, one of the key symptoms of BPD is an inability to emotionally regulate. So in other words, most people, stuff happens and we're able to go, ooh, and then come right back down. With borderline, they go, ooh, and they go from 0 to 150 and they stay there for hours. So it's emotional regulation. It's being able to recognize I'm having an emotion, not being afraid of it, not indulging in it, the anger especially, because anger is the easiest emotion to access. This is why borderlines have a tendency to rage, because it's an easy emotion to access and it's a safe emotion to access. Because if you're raging, if you're, nobody's going to mess with you. No sane person in their right mind is going to go up against the Incredible Hulk. They're just not, you know? And so we've learned from a little age, you know, that if we rage, our abusers back off, or people back off, or people leave us alone. But then simultaneously with borderline personality disorder is the fear of being abandoned. And so then that reinforces, oh my God, I'm going to be abandoned. And then all these emotions come up, and then other emotions come up, and then you get into crying jags and you can't get off the crying jag. So it's being able to emotionally regulate, recognize I'm having an emotion, It's okay to have an emotion. I do not need to go 0 to 60, 0 to 120, 0 to 150. I can have this emotion. It's not anybody else's fault. It's not anybody else's blame. There's no blame, shame, guilt tripping, nothing like that. This is my emotion, and I get to have it. And now I'm done. And now I'm moving on to the next. That's emotional regulating. It's like when you have an emotion, you have it, but you don't make yourself wrong for it, and you don't go 0 to 60, no matter which direction it's going, whether it's a crying jag or whether it's a raging jag or whether it's whatever. It's like you are emotionally regulated. It's not. So it's even. It's like normal is this, okay? With borderline, emotions are like this, okay? And it's very disruptive to the person. It's very frightening to the person because it feels like they're out of control. And that's the worst thing for a borderline to feel, is abandoned or out of control. So that's why learning how to emotionally regulate with dialectic behavioral therapy is hugely important. You got to do it. It's the one thing that really helps. Schema therapy is also really good for that. You can do it with CBT, but it takes a little bit longer. So dialectic behavioral therapy for BPD is beautiful. Do it. All right. Is passive-aggressive behavior a sign of narcissism? Can people be passive-aggressive without being a narcissist? Yes. Passive-aggressive behavior is a coward's way out. So normal, healthy people, I put normal in bunny ears, normal, healthy people are able to state what they are thinking and feeling without being snarky bastards about it, okay? People who have a hard time expressing themselves or who are insecure, as most narcissists are, about their position will be snarky. They'll be nasty. They'll be passive-aggressive. So you can be snarky, nasty, and passive-aggressive without being full-blown narcissistic personality disorder. If you want more information on what the criteria is, just go to the Mayo Clinic, look up Mayo Clinic narcissistic personality disorder, and it will pop up all of the criteria for that. So that's what you do, and you have to have 5 of those. So there's 9 of them. So you only have to have 5 to be a full-blown narcissist. So yeah, people can have traits of, and one of the traits of is definitely being passive-aggressive. You betcha. That's not a nice trait to have. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes being snarked at. Nobody likes being, nasty or snit at or, anything like that. You don't like that. It's not necessarily a sign of narcissism, but a lot of narcissists do the passive-aggressive because they're cowards. They're cowards. And that's the way of the coward. If you want my personal opinion, because a real healthy person goes, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm feeling. You may not like it, but there it is. So there it is. Okay, and I think this one is going to be our last question. How do we distinguish between hermit, borderline, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder? Does CPTSD also come with suicidal thoughts sometimes? Yes! Oh my God! Yes! Okay, so again, go to the Mayo Clinic, look up PTSD. Okay, all of those are going to be in, okay, one more. Fine. I'll do one more question. Okay, so all of those criteria are going to be with complex. All complex means is that it's happened over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It's abuse. So you know how abusers, they don't just abuse once, they abuse every day, but it's always something different. It's not like some of them do. Some of them come in and hit you all the time. Some of them come in and scream at you all the time. Sometimes they do the intermittent positive rewards. You just don't know what you're going to get. Like with my dad, it was always a guessing game. It was like, oh, am I going to get nice dad or am I going to get batshit crazy dad today? Oh dear. And one of the ways I could tell is that I would walk in and I would say, good morning. And sometimes he would say, good morning, sweetheart. And I'd be like, okay, today's going to be okay. Or other days I would walk in and say, good morning. And he'd look at me and go, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, fuck, run, because you knew he was looking for an excuse to hit you. So, or do whatever. So, so you distinguish between the two of them because hermit, borderline, so borderline often gets misdiagnosed, or as PTSD often gets misdiagnosed as borderline, okay? Borderline is based in trauma. So it's kind of very similar. Okay, now there's some characteristics of borderlines that are not in PTSD, but they're going to have a lot of overlapping because borderline is based in trauma. So my suggestion again is read up on this. Go to the Mayo Clinic, look up borderline personality disorder, look at all of the criteria for that. Look up PTSD, look at all the criteria for that. Notice how similar they are. you know, and see what is not similar. And that's what distinguishes the two. So, and unfortunately, I don't know where my DSM-5 is. I was actually on the phone with a friend yesterday talking to him, and I think I left it out in the living room. Anyway, so there is that. I hope that answers. And yes, you do get suicidal thoughts with PTSD. Why do you think so many veterans commit suicide? Why do you think we are losing a veteran every minute to this damn PTSD? Because it creates suicidal thoughts. Trauma creates suicidal thoughts. When I was a teenager, I was absolutely suicidal. I did think about killing myself. I did, because I was in such an untenable situation. I was in such a horrific situation with my dad. He was molesting me and he was screaming at me and he was crazy. You know, I couldn't see a way out, you know. So yeah, that's very common to have suicidal thoughts. And again, call the suicidal hotline, call the National Suicide Hotline. It's you know, it's a great thing. Or call the warm line. Almost every state has got warm lines that you can talk to somebody and talk it through. Those thoughts are normal. You're not crazy, but just don't act on them. Just don't act on them. Do not give the abuser the satisfaction of you offing yourself. Don't do it. Go live a good life. So work on you. So my suggestion would be, if it's borderline, it's based in trauma. You treat it like a trauma. You treat it by working on the original wound. You treat it by working on the CPTSD book by Pete Walker. You get with a good dialectic behavioral therapist. You work on those maladaptive behaviors that we created as children in order to deal with the crazy, okay? So really important. So get with that. Okay, I hope that answered the question. All right, so this is the last question. Is writing letters to myself and burning them for self-forgiveness helpful? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Dear me, I forgive me for, and then you fill in the blank, you know, for this, whatever. And then you make sure you put nice things in there about you. I'm so proud of you for surviving. I'm so proud of you for being able to starting to recognize your body. I'm so proud of you for loving yourself enough to start working on yourself. I am so proud of you for loving you and taking good care of you and seeing a therapist and working and confronting and feeling those feelings that are so frightening. I am so proud of you for being so brave for all of the bullshit you had to put up with. Yeah. Then you trot it out to the barbecue and you burn it. You read it out loud once and you burn it. And then you say that stuff to you in the mirror. Do that to you in the mirror. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Thank you for working on you. Thank you for loving you enough to work on you. That's what I need you guys to do. All right, kids, I think we are done for the day. I went a little over. I am so sorry. Have a great week. Please do the mirror work. Please start getting in touch with your bodies. Please start talking kindly to yourselves. Please start writing yourselves love letters. Take them out to the barbecue and burn them. So remember, we've got some cabins available for the cruise. I'm going to be doing a lecture in Orlando on the 14th. Join us for the cruise. This is going to be awesome. Susanna is going to be with us. You can go to Eventbrite, Mercury Eventbrite, to sign up for that, or you can go straight to my page, chrisgodinez.com. So there's still room on that. It's going to be phenomenal, and I'm so looking forward to meeting you guys. I love meeting you guys, and I love being able to help you guys personally. Or look for the cruise on Facebook. That's another place where it's at. So, all right, I will see you guys next week. Have a great week, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye. Ooh, there it is.